Well, I think one of the main things for me that came out of the Academy was that Australia is advancing in world soccer. We're much more organised than our Oceania neighbours, and part of the course, on the completion of the course, was that people from Australia will go into the Oceania region to help update administration, refereeing, sports medicine and soccer within the Oceania region.
And I understand you're one of those people.
Yes, I was informed on Wednesday that very shortly I'll be called upon to go into some of the Fijian islands and do some coaching on football in that area.
So do you see this as perhaps the start of FIFA really stepping up their commitment to soccer in this area?
I'm sure that's a fact. I'm sure that FIFA are now starting to realise, with Australia qualifying in Russia in the under-20 youth tournament and now qualifying in China in the under-16 tournament, that Australia has come on in leaps and bounds in terms of soccer in this part of the world.
"17-year-old Darren Shivers of the home club is a star in the making, but unlike his car racing father Doug, he does all his driving on the golf course. He's not only the club's junior champion, but also the best of the seniors. Playing off 4, he was the second lowest marker to Wayne Stewart of Toronto, who plays off 3. Of the girls, Daniela Heaton of the Tuggerah Lakes Club was one of the best performed yesterday, with a string of pars to put in her bid for the title. Daniela plays off 12, but could not equal eventual winner Tracy Hale of Sydney's Randwick Club. The Toukley course has a way to go, but has the potential to be a fine test of golf and a superb layout in the future. The tournament looks set already to become an annual event that will see this weekend turn into a feature of the sub-junior calendar.
Racing through 6 inches of this red dust at speeds of up to 180 kilometres an hour, so it's nothing like motocross or short circuit that people are used to around the local region.
What sort of riders does it attract then?
Well, this year especially, because it's a 10th anniversary race, it attracts all the top motocross riders in the country. Stephen Gall, Jeff Lees, Phil Lovett from
going, Steve.
Yes, there's 3 divisions, mainly 125, 250 and open. I'll be riding the 125, John Clay the 250s, and my brother Michael, who was 10th outright last year, is riding the open class on a 500. Outright first prize money.
And you fellas from Scone have got a 3-man team in the 3 different divisions going, Steve.
Yes, there's 3 divisions, mainly 125, 250 and open.
This could be a case of too much publicity being a bad thing. The boutique, It's Me, is owned by designer Jan Spriggs. Thieves smashed open the front door sometime between 6 and 8 o'clock last night and emptied the store. All of the stock had been prepared for last week's fashion parade and was the result of 4 months' work. The estimated value of the garments is $15,000. Each is a one-off and none are labelled. Jan says that she is insured but will not recover the full value of the stolen clothing. She is waiting for Telecom to complete the installation of her burglar alarm. Police are hoping someone may have seen the robbery and come forward to help their investigations.
Let's talk this monthly name trade isn't a bad luck omen for the Daredevil McFaddens, who see the 9,000-kilometre Yamaha Pasata Carbotion race as the perfect vehicle to test their yachting design and construction capabilities. 3 months into the project, the tunnel behind the Pasata is nearly finished.
All this trouble,
when it's finally outfitted early next year, it will have put the boys back by around $150,000, and only then will they be able to assess its suitability for the Melbourne to assist the race, which is being
very
billed
dangerous
as a navigator's nightmare.
Yeah, it is being claimed as one of the world's most hazardous races, mainly because of the islands and the 3 different weather pattern changes with southern hemisphere, equator and northern hemisphere. Well, you're also going to go up to the Antarctic.
Distance, plus the dangers inherent in voyaging to the Arctic afterwards, Ivan and Glenn say they've had to try for a combination of speed, manoeuvrability and strength, hence the quality steel shell and sweep on its design. Then, to make matters even more interesting, only 2 men
fair bit of sailing
allowed.
yourself, but a boat like this would normally demand a crew of 8 to 10 people. How hard's it going to be with just yourself and Ivan?
It should be pretty hard because, as you can imagine, 8 to 10 people scaled down to 2 people. They'll need a lot of extra gear and winches and different sails, you know.
Are you putting your safety at risk, just the 2 of you?
Yes.
Well, why do you do it then?
Just for the challenge, bit of adventure, nothing at the end, cup.
A total of 44 careers were represented at the first market of this kind held in the West Wallsend School Auditorium. Senior students from the surrounding high schools of Torres, Burragul, Glendale, Morisset and West Wallsend were given opportunities to work with experts in fields such as the police force, advertising and hairdressing. Parents were also welcome to attend and play the role of the organisations today, but the ones who gained the most was those students looking for a career, and most found the market a worthwhile display.
Well, I sort of never really thought of what I wanted to do after I finished the HSC, but after today and talking to some different sort of markets here, I've sort of got an idea of what I want to do now when I finish school.
Jamie, you're in Year 12, you're about to go out into the workforce next year. What have you gained?
Well, apart from an extra 2 days at school, because I would have had to go out and walk up Hunter Street and go to Sydney and find out all the things I had to find out here today, I've gained experience in there's different fields that I can go into. I just wanted to be a lawyer, but now I can learn I can go into teaching and medicine or be a nurse or anything like that, just from the careers today.
Operation Identification is now entering its 6th week, and already many householders have used it to make their property almost instantly identifiable. A small engraver may be borrowed from Newcastle, Mayfield, Hamilton and Wallsend stations, and from major stations throughout the Hunter Valley. Police suggest people take the engraver home and clearly mark every portable item of value.
They can inscribe on their belongings any identification mark that they desire. We do recommend New South Wales driver's licences for those people that do hold a licence. If not, they may make up some form of identification of their own.
In the event that an item marked with the owner's licence number is stolen, if recovered it can easily be traced back to the owner through the police computer system. Police stress that an identifying inscription or the serial and model number are essential to returning stolen property to its rightful owner.
The match meeting held at the Broadmeadows East Boys Club was only one in a statewide campaign organised by the New South Wales Teachers Federation and gave teachers from the Newcastle area the chance to put forward their case behind the Bega dispute. Support for the campaign to obtain Dick O'Neill's reinstatement to the mathematics department at Bega High School and to replace the existing staffing formula in secondary schools by staging a 2-day strike on the 26th and 27th of this month was narrowly defeated 117 votes to 114. Teachers will plan further meetings to discuss future industrial action.
Press releases get us about a week after they've been made. They mean not very much. There are some surveys there even if there was a sample filming.
The local members put some representations on behalf of the local citizens to me, quite voluminous representations actually, and he's put some further ones to me yesterday. and I'm going to think about them over the weekend and make a decision on Monday.
The dispute has turned into an emotional issue for the Charlestown residents, and Mr Walker says he's unhappy with their response.
Well, I've been very disappointed. There's been violence, vandalism, threats, very rude and filthy letters sent to my office. I think that's not the sort of way that citizens should protest against something that they don't like.
The Charlestown Residents Action Group is fighting against a scheme which it believes will not work in the area. Spokesman for the group, John Cooper, says that the residents will not cooperate in any way with a program that will need their support if it is to be a success.
Well, if Mr Walker is foolish enough to push ahead with the scheme, no, the residents won't cooperate. It won't be a success. Mr Walker talks about in 6 months we'll be inviting the juveniles into our houses. 6 months, 6 years, we won't have them in, we won't cooperate. We've sent a telegram today to Mr Rand asking him to intervene in the matter, because as far as we're concerned, if we have a minister that doesn't talk to us, he's no use to us.
And so the controversy continues, with both sides determined to succeed. This weekend, the Minister for Youth and Community Services will make his decision regarding the arguments for and against the opening of the home. If successful, the residents will make sure the program doesn't work.
The explosives-filled car crashed into a position held by the Lebanese Army's mainly Shiite 6th Brigade. 23 people were killed and 36 were injured. An ally of the PLO has claimed responsibility. Northern Ireland, and in inner-city Belfast, a 450-kilogram bomb exploded just hours before the arrival of the Deputy Secretary of State, Sir Nicholas Scott. No one was hurt in the blast, but a building collapsed and debris was scattered for more than 500 metres. Gaborone, the capital of Botswana, was the latest target in South Africa's attacks on members of the African National Congress. 15 people were killed when South African commandos disregarded the national border and raided the city in the early hours of this morning. Many people were killed in their beds. This man was one of the survivors.
I was inside when they broke in and started shooting. I was inside, so luckily I went under the bed, and my brother and my sister tried to lie down just next to me. And when they walked in, they shot them.
Are you a member of the ANC?
I'm not, but my brother was.
It's an indication of the unusual popularity of brass bands in this area that the combined championship for Youth Coast of Australia title and the Mid-North Coast Band Group title were held at the Workers' Club for the third year running. The Mayor of Lake Macquarie, Alderman Jeff Pastorfield, officially opened the proceedings this afternoon, and then the Cardiff North Lakes Brass Band took to the stage. As in the previous 2 years, the band was the host and organiser of the competition. A total of 10 brass and concert bands competed, and at the end of the day the concert section was won by the City of Newcastle Band. The win by the Police Boys Band in the brass section was another popular decision, coming on the eve of their trip to Switzerland for the International Music Youth Festival.
John, congratulations on winning the competition. That must give you a great boost of confidence for the trip to Switzerland.
It does definitely, Mark. We're very thrilled. We've worked very hard, and I'm sure other bands have worked very, very hard too, but it's nice to go over with a title under your belt and be able to pronounce that we are champions in one sense or another.
In many ways, it was a sad occasion, as it marked the end of an era. Most Novocastrians at one time have attended a function in the Wind Shorten Room. Many held their wedding receptions there, especially if the guest list was long. Today, those well-used plates, cups, knives, forks and kitchen utensils were sold at auction. And there were some real bargains. How about 175 coffee cups with about 250 sauces for just $20? Or 70 dinner plates for $25. A number of keen buyers bidded for what must be described now as memorabilia. Most were Newcastle buyers, so at least this piece of our history has not left town, and may pop up in a local eating house soon. This is Swing Week, and to mark the occasion, the Lower Hunter Multiple Boat Club held a play day at Pender Place, Maitland.
It's a lot of fun. We like to think of it more as twice as nice as double club.
The club consists of 40 twin families, through with triplets. The children's ages range from just 8 weeks to about 7 years. The week is designed to highlight some of the difficulties associated with raising and educating multiple birth children. The parents get together and swap ideas and share experiences. Jenny O'Hearn is the club's vice president.
Is it true that twins seem to develop a little slower than single children?
We think so. They're always a little bit behind in sitting up, crawling, walking, talking, but a lot of that too is you just don't seem to spend quite as much time with the two as what you would with one child. With one, you're pushing them on to the next step of sitting up, you're encouraging them to crawl. With two, you're just quite happy to let them sit there.
These girls are hoping to make a big impression in what for too long has been a man's world. They have spent the last 10 weeks stenciling and spraying, cutting and polishing to produce airbrush work, which is on display for the next 2 weeks in the main foyer of the college's administration building. The 9 girls are aged between 16 and 22 and were placed in the 12-week Participation and Equity Program course by the CES. They are now looking for jobs. Not only can they offer employers their skills, but they have also been taught silk screening, sign writing and art detail. The standard of the work has already impressed at least one person who was offered to buy this mural by student Natalie Wood. At the Cook Hill Gallery, meanwhile, there was a one-day exhibition of creative embroidery. Differing from more traditional styles by the mix of paint and materials, the work was from the Creative Embroidery Association of New South Wales. This craft is on the verge of being accepted as an art, and the exhibition has been great demand throughout Australia. The embroidery will soon be on show at the Community Gallery in Port Stephens. The topic the exhibition celebrates the 25th anniversary of the Northern Southern West Federation. Members from as far away as the ancient Stone and Dungeon have contributed their best work, some of it dating back 40 years. Saturday's performance, going down against Dandenong 108 to 84, did little to encourage Hunter's fans. Once again, in sport, Greg the Iceman Island was fouled out in the third quarter, as were Buster Matheny and Brian Dick in the fourth quarter. His Hunter coach, Graham Baker, concerned about his team's strength.
Well, John, you've got to be concerned when you start dropping games, and we're concerned that we're losing. We've lost our last 2 after winning our first 3. Sure, that's a concern, but I'm not sort of pressing any panic buttons at the moment, that's for sure.
You've been quoted as saying that the first few wins you had were played when the Hunters still weren't displaying any form. They were lucky to win, so logically you haven't showed any form yet at all.
There's a great deal of truth in it. I don't think we have either, but we still won our opening 3 games under and still trying to get our act together, more to say, so to speak. It's going to be difficult for us to do anything, I think, in the first half of the season. We're a new team. We've got quite a few new players, and they're going to take some time settling into a sort of a team organisation, and that doesn't happen overnight.
Taking individual players, the much publicised The Iceman, Greg Ireland, seems to have, and I quote, your organisation seems to have melted.
Well, that's being a bit tough. Greg, of course, is his first time overseas, first time in Australia, and it takes a while to settle in. I mean, he's got new rules to consider, he's got a new team he's playing with, he's got a standard play that he has to adjust to. let's give him a chance. I'm willing to. I know he can produce the goods, and it's just a matter of holding in there and giving him the opportunities.
The Apprentice Award is given for outstanding achievement in a field related to the coal industry. The winner for 1984 is David Hughes, who completed his apprenticeship last year and is now a qualified electrical fitter at Stockton Borehole Colliery. David said he was delighted and surprised.
How do you feel
by
about
his
your
win?
win?
I feel it's very good, as it's paid off for what I've been working for over the last 4 years of my apprenticeship, so I feel very good about it.
What do you plan to do with your future?
I hope to start university first semester next year, an engineering degree.
The New South Wales Coal Association also presented 6 safety awards. The winners were Operating Units of Coal and Allied, who received their awards for completing 50,000 working hours free of lost time injury.